title, Where Two Worlds Whisper, by Wisdom Chronicles. In the heart of Istanbul, where the Bosphorus whispered tales of old and new, lay a city caught in the throes of time, a bridge between epochs and empires. It was the 1960s, a decade where the pulse of a nation beat in sync with the rhythm of change. And in this city of contrast lived Elif, a young woman whose dreams were as vast as the sea that split her world in two. Elif's story began in a small house nestled in the shadow of ancient mosques, where the call to prayer mixed seamlessly with the distant echo of jazz. Her home was a sanctuary of tradition, a realm where her conservative family upheld the customs that had defined their lineage. Yet, beyond the walls of her home, the city beckoned with its neon signs and the promise of a future unbound by the constraints of the past. Each day, as Elif walked through the cobbled streets, she felt the city's heartbeat, a rhythm fueled by the clash and harmony of East and West. She passed by the Grand Bazaar, where the scent of spices and the vibrant colours of textiles painted a picture of the Istanbul of old. Yet, a turn of a corner revealed a different sight, sleek cafes where the city's youth gathered, their conversations a blend of hope and rebellion. Elif's dream was to capture these stories, to weave the tapestry of Istanbul's soul into words. She longed to be a journalist, a voice that could traverse the chasm between tradition and modernity. But her path was fraught with obstacles. In a society where women were expected to tread carefully, Elif's ambition was a flame in a field of dry grass. Her evenings were spent by the shimmering waters of the Bosphorus, where she watched the construction of the great bridge that would connect two continents. To Elif, the bridge was more than a feat of engineering. It was a symbol of the tension and connection between her world and the one she yearned to explore. It stood as a testament to the potential of her city and in many ways to her own uncharted future. The political landscape of Istanbul in those days was as turbulent as the sea that bordered it. The air was thick with the spirit of change, a change that promised progress but also threatened the very fabric of the society Elif knew. Her father, a man of old beliefs, viewed the Western influences with suspicion, seeing in them the erosion of the values he held dear. Elif's struggle was not just against societal norms, but also against the confines of her own home. Her mother, a gentle soul, was torn between her husband's traditionalism and her daughter's aspirations. She was like Istanbul itself, a bridge between two worlds, trying to find balance amidst the currents of change. As the days turned into months, Elif found solace in her small acts of rebellion, penning her thoughts in secret, reading the works of Western authors, and conversing with the students at the university. These young minds, ablaze with ideas, spoke of democracy, of freedom, of a world where women like Elif could find their place in the sun. One evening, as the city lights danced upon the waters of the Bosphorus, Elif met a young man, Ahmet, at a local cafe. Ahmet was a student at the university, his ideas as bold as the waves that crashed against the shores. He spoke of a future where tradition and progress walked hand in hand, where the voices of the silenced could be heard echoing through the streets of Istanbul. Ahmet's words ignited in Elif a new hope, and together they dreamed of a newspaper that would give voice to the voiceless, a publication that would bridge the gaps that divided their society. But dreams, Elif soon realized, were delicate things in a world that was still learning to accept change. The turning point came on a crisp autumn day, as the city prepared to witness the inauguration of the Bosphorus Bridge. Elif, armed with nothing but her pen and her courage, decided it was time to step into the light. She penned an article, a piece that captured the essence of her city at this historic moment. A city caught between the tides of tradition and modernity. Its people yearning for a future that honored the past while embracing the new. Her article, published anonymously, became the talk of the city. It resonated with the hearts of many, stirring a conversation that transcended the boundaries of age and tradition. Even her father, upon reading it, felt a stir of pride, unaware that the author was his own daughter. As the city celebrated the opening of the bridge, Elif stood among the crowd, her eyes fixed on the horizon. The bridge, in all its majesty, was a beacon of hope, a symbol of the journey her city and she herself were embarking upon. Istanbul, in its timeless dance, continued to weave a story of contrast and harmony, a narrative that Elif was now a part of. Her journey was far from over, but as the sun set over the Bosphorus, casting a golden glow over the city, Elif knew that her story, like that of Istanbul, was one of endless possibilities. In the heart of a city where two worlds whispered secrets to each other, a young woman had found her voice, and with it, the power to bridge the divides that had long defined her world. And so, under the watchful eyes of minarets and neon lights, Istanbul continued to hum with the melody of change, a song of the past and the future, played on the strings of the present. It was a melody that spoke of dreams, of struggles, and of the enduring spirit of a city where two worlds met, forever entwined in the dance of time.